Hey guys, today I want to talk about how I come up with new doodle markings and just the elements that I like to use when I'm doing my art meditation and my art journaling. Because sometimes when you are doing kind of that intuitive mixed media things and you think, well, just do what comes naturally, if you don't have kind of a bank of things to work with, it can be really hard. So basically, with this process, I start with whatever I picked up. I will do my best to draw it fairly realistic. I try to draw what I see. I'm quick about it. I don't try to be too precise because I'm not using it for a final piece of art. This is just kind of like making a library or a data bank of information and references to kind of subconsciously pull from later. And also, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I will draw it as best I can, and then I will start picking out tidbits from it and seeing how I can simplify. And I'll do stuff over and over once I find out that I like something, and I'll try that on. And then I'll see how I can simplify, like I'm doing here for a pattern. And these are ways that I might be able to repeat throughout my design. Because a lot of times, also, when I'm doing doodle markings for my art meditation and for my art journaling, I will repeat whatever I'm using because I have a background in surface pattern design, and so I really like pattern. And it's a way that it can kind of pull an image together. So when you can find kind of these simple elements and then repeat them throughout your work, it kind of is a way to draw your eye around and give it a cohesiveness um, that kind of will become natural the more that you do it. Again, as you can tell, I wasn't, they're messy. They are sketchy, which is how I draw, but it's very rough. And it's not to have a finished piece. It is about getting your ideas down and about observing. I think too often people say, well, I don't know how to draw. I can't even draw a straight line, which is always the, maybe one of the funniest things people say because I'm like, how often do you really draw a straight line unless you're doing like geometric pattern work? But, anyways, so it's simply about observing what you see and then how can you translate that into an even simpler shape and really looking and seeing the beauty that's around us, I mean, because I think we get so used to, you go for a walk in your house, and even when you go sightseeing, it's like you get used to certain things, and so you stop seeing the little details and you don't really see the shapes of things. And so it's just easy to overlook. And so this practice is really good to start looking at all the details and really starting to see things again. Or for the first time if you've never really paid attention. Now, for this last one, I got super, super detailed. And I knew as I was going, I was like, this is really, really too much. But my goal was to really look at again the details. I was very fascinated with some of the lines and the shapes that were going on within the leaves, and even how my eye was picking up the blooms on the flower because it's not a typical shape of a flower. It's it's a wildflower that turns into almost like a cotton, I say cotton, more like a dandelion type that blows off. It looks like cotton when it gets in your yard. I've never seen anything quite like it. Very, very interesting flower. So again, I wasn't used to seeing it, and I just was very, very fascinated by all the different little shapes in the leaves. And so I wanted to capture all those different lines, knowing that then I would try to break it all down into a little bit more simple patterns and simple ways that I could use it. I do really want to go back and draw this flower for real. just to do draw it, color it in a realistic, almost vintage type fashion because I feel like it fits very well to that style. But that's kind of besides the point right now. So you can see I really was trying to get a feel for the shape of the blooms on this part and just kept going with that and experimenting a little bit. I also draw in pen when I'm doing this. That scares a lot of people because you can't erase. But what I like about it is that it helps me to not be too precious with it and not be too perfect because I tend to be a perfectionist. So this is one way that I kind of overcome that perfectionist um, tendency that I have. But I try to wrap up this with putting together a couple of the different elements that the simple elements I've done and seeing how I might put them together if in a piece of work, if I was doodling kind of these leaf shapes with the flowers, a very simplified flower shape. But I actually really love this page. It's rough, but I can see little tidbits that could come through really beautiful in a final piece of work. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.